We heard from a fair number of South students in absentia. They had proxies read letters on their behalf, and we appreciate that. The board also received one, and I think it's important the community hear it as well, from a Central student who writes, Dear District 86 board members, I am part of the class of 2015 from Hinsdale Central and a part of the Science Olympiad team from 2013 to 2015. I'm a recent graduate from the Illinois Institute of Technology with a bachelor's and master's degree in mechanical engineering. I recently came across the board's plan to restructure the science program, and I will keep my opinions limited to the changes with the physics program for this email because those are the only classes I took at Central. I can't emphasize enough how capable the science faculty at Central is and how much they care about the success of their students. It would be a remarkable oversight not to take their opinions into consideration. The first change I have come across is the addition of physics in the universe as the only course offered for incoming freshman students. If I'm not mistaken, the average student will be taking this course concurrently with algebra. With my background as a physics student, I can assure you that anyone trying to understand even the most basic concept of physics without having a grasp on algebra has their work cut out for them, which is why this board member went to law school and not medical school. I do realize that a lot of students will not be pursuing a career in STEM, but depriving them of the opportunity to gain a holistic science education does not seem to align with the district's goal of developing critical competencies. Another change that concerns me is the removal of classes like AP Physics 1 and 2. If a student is trying to pursue a career or higher education in a field related to physics after high school, as I myself did, I would have two options. The first would be to take AP Physics C during my sophomore year. Taking AP Physics C without taking calculus is the equivalent of trying to drive a car while you're blindfolded. Calculus provides the luxury of sight when it comes to the world of physics. The second option would be to wait until senior year or after the completion of a calculus course, whenever that may be. This would be the equivalent of not having an engine in the car. There is nothing to drive the concepts home, so to speak, after 3 years of not having taken a physics course. AP Physics 1 and 2 provide a good option for students who wanted to either find a good intermediary course to ease themselves into Physics C or waited to be better prepared for a college physics course. Removing these options really limits students who want what's best for their future. And while reading about this subject, I have come across claims like, quote, a 3 is just as respected by the colleges as a 4 or 5 on the AP, close quote. This is just not true. Some universities do not accept anything other than a 5. Even if institutions accept a 3 for AP exams, there's a significant gap in the understanding, no, you don't cut me off, Madam Board President, in the understanding of the subject matter between a score of 3 and 5. If I'd gotten a 3 in my AP Physics C exam, I would have been reconsidering my decision to become an ME or unable to use AP credit to opt out of the courses in college. These students should be empowered to do what's best for their future with proper guidance from the teachers and counselors instead of being forced into a prescribed selection of courses. As someone who really enjoys physics and thinks that everyone should have a basic understanding of the study of nature or physical things, whichever way you choose to translate it, I believe this approach towards physics education denies a lot of students from a shot at a better education. This is without getting into the removal of options like earth science, which goes directly against the mission of empowering students to pursue their ideal futures. There's a link to the board policies and mission statement. I hope my perspective highlights the impact of this proposed change. I request the board give the program the proper planning that it requires before potentially jeopardizing the future of these students. Regards, Kisley Begat, Bachelor of Science, Masters of Education, I would assume, although pardon my ignorance, Mechanical Engineering, Masters of Engineering, Illinois Institute of Technology 2019. The other point I would make is Dr. Rahman spoke in, am I pronouncing your name correctly? If I'm wrong, I apologize, it's not intentional. The cardiologist, who I may be seeing in my near future, spoke of support, and yet we had, if you recall, shortly before Christmas, the Vice President of Research from Northwestern, whose name I do forget, who has an engineering background that spoke in opposition to it. Folks, in this discussion tonight, you've seen what the board is faced with. You have folks that have high degrees of education, that know what they speak of. Both of you, both of the good doctors, teach at the collegiate level. Both have outstanding pedigrees, and yet we have a battle of experts. If I were trying the case, that would translate into a really high billable, but that's not our focus. The board is focused on how do we select what is best for the students. And the reality is, when we look at the professionals that are advising us, Dr. Galvitz, Ms. May, all the other folks that have given their opinions, you heard them speak tonight. There's no reservation. They're committed to what they think is appropriate. I will not substitute my inferior judgment, and I only speak as one board member, for those who have multiple advanced degrees in the area of curriculum development. So, at least for this board member, that is why I remain committed to the proposed science curriculum. Ms. Pollock corrected me as she should. It's not proposed. It has been voted on, and it is the science curriculum. But nonetheless, thank you for the clarification.